Hello everyone, and welcome to the 8th episode of the weekly upload update. Obi aka 3X back on the mic once again, and we're gonna get straight into it here with an update of one of the previous CAWS that I showed in episode 7, this being Ricky Ortega. He's gone through a couple of tweaks over the course of the last week since I showed him the previous video. You can pretty much see exactly where those touches were made. I did some face tweaking on the face, obviously. Added some chest tattoos and arm tattoos to help him further kind of resemble the appearance of Ricky Ortiz back in the ECW days. And then I changed up his attire to kind of make him more resemble No Way Jose from current day NXT. Added a variation of his arm tattoo that was hooked up by one of the Photoshop styles, and the name logo that was also hooked up with the style. Little reminder for you guys, if you have not checked it out, I have actually posted a video that goes in detail with what styles are and how it is that you can attain some of them for yourself using Photoshop. That link will be in the description box below. A little bit of an FYI for you guys out there who are using Photoshop Elements, which was brought up to me over the course of today before I started recording this video. Styles do not work in Elements. Elements is kind of a light version of Photoshop that has very, very key functions that Photoshop has, but the blending options feature that is in Photoshop doesn't exist in Photoshop Elements. You need to have a full-blown version of Photoshop itself in order to be able to access the blending options and thus be able to either use or create your own styles. Fortunately, you don't need the latest version of Photoshop. Any version will do, from, say, I guess Photoshop CS6 and lower. Like any one of them that went into the CS designation, which is Creation Suites, will be able to use styles. And there are ways that you can get them all over the place, including buying them, which I would highly suggest. But if you don't want to and want to acquire it through other means, that is possible through the magic of the internet. Don't ask me how to do it, just figure it out yourself. Anyway, getting back to the CAWS, let's take a look at his second attire, which is pretty much just a slight variation. Didn't change a whole lot. I was thinking about making it white and kind of a brightish green to match the other name logo that I had made in last week's version of Mr. Ortega, but just a little variation on the tattoo logo there is all that was done, and that pretty much solidifies his look, at least for 2017. Maybe I might add additional tattoos on the other side for another version of him next season, but as far as the 2017 version, it's pretty much what I've got. And yeah, he looks cool, and obviously I'm going to be putting him into something of a bit of a program with Union King, as was kind of established a bit in the season premiere of Takedown. Yeah, you'll see for yourself. I've got something kind of cool planned that you guys will dig. But yeah, that's Ricky Ortiz for you. He is updated, and he is also uploaded along with all the other CAWS that I showed you on the second part of last week's Woo video to community creations right now. So go ahead and grab them. On to the new hotness. And this particular gentleman, of course, made a surprise debut appearance in the season premiere of XWA Takedown, and that, of course, is Crossbones, 1/3 of the entity known as the Riot Squad. And yeah, I think you can probably take a pretty good guess where the design inspiration for his 2017 primary attire came from. And if you don't know, then okay, where have you been all this time? Have you not heard of Lucha Underground? There's a particular big man on that show by the name of Matanzas, full name Matanzas Cuerto, who is actually the brother of the owner of Lucha Underground, Dario Cueto. And yeah, once I saw his look, I immediately said, okay, somebody has been, somebody ripped off my idea. Somebody took the idea of the Riot Squad and made it into reality. Because that's basically what the Riot Squad is. Just masked marauders, just absolute destroyers that can basically run shop and take a bunch of punishment and just own people inside of the ring. And so it was pretty cut and dry when I saw that look that I was going to be putting it on someone. Just wasn't all the way sure who. And I kind of finalized on Crossbones when I established that I was going to go with kind of a Bane-ish look for Riot. So this is his 2017 primary attire here. I mean, there's not much I can actually say about it. It's pretty cut and dry, which, like I've said before, is my design cue for 2017 to make things kind of simple yet effective. You've got the ID number on the chest. I think I might throw one on the back as well, just to kind of match it up a little bit, make it look kind of prison-esque, even though it's black. And you know they don't wear black in prison, it's orange. But that wouldn't have taken too well to the skull logos. You've seen these before on Beretta Vendetta's attire. I actually just used it on her attire because I didn't want to find a different skull to use, so they kind of share that similarity to themselves. Boots, pretty basic. Tattoos, same placement as it has been on last year's version of the core. So the arm tattoos and the skull chest tattoo are still there. And then there's the mask, which is basically the new version Kane entrance mask, which you can actually use in match, and that works out perfectly with the skull logo there. It just basically, the core literally made itself this whole time as I was making him, and it was probably one of the fastest processes I've ever done. For your FYI, there is no face texture behind the mask. It's the default face, because Crossbones will never ever unmask, so you will never know how his real face looks like, or even if he has a face, because you know he's not human. He's just a bloodthirsty beast of a man who just enjoys pain and suffering, and as much of it as he can cause on the human race as possible, that just works out for him. And then we'll take a look at his second attire, which is a lot closer to Riot's second attire, the more Shield-ish Roman Reigns kind of look. Pretty much the same idea as Riot's second attire, except the fact that I used the skull and crossbones logo on the chest piece. And aside from that, it's just basically the same look, you know, kind of the Riot Squad uniform, so to speak. Could you say that I took it off of the Shield, or could you say that the Shield kind of took the idea off of me? You know, maybe WWE and Lucha Underground are watching this channel and stealing my ideas. Just a thought, you know, like they would actually pay me royalties. Anyway, that's wishful thinking. He is not yet uploaded. I want to actually work on the third member of the Riot Squad, that being Happy Face, and upload them both at the same time. So probably in the next weekly upload updates, by the time that comes out, they will both be made available for you. Riot is still up. I don't see any reason to take him down because he's got over 150 downloads thus far. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to double check after I record and just, you know, put the edit number here on screen somewhere. Anytime a core of mine reaches over a certain milestone, like 150 to 200 cores, I'll just keep them up on the server because apparently they're popular. So there's a lot of them that are still up there that I uploaded weeks ago. If people like them, I'll keep them on. If I don't see that many uploads, then I'll take them off and replace them with uploads. I've kind of said that before, but yeah, that's how that works. That's how my system is going right now for this. So yeah, you will see him next week, and you will also see the Clown Prince of Violence joining him and round out the Riot Squad in full. Next up on the list is Big Brother Tommy. This, of course, being the Hellhound Tommy Jonas, the older brother of the current XWA Diamond Champion Haley Jonas. And yeah, there's a long, deep-rooted backstory behind the Jonas siblings that I could get in detail with you guys on. Basically, they were both orphaned as children, and Tommy here took up the kind of protector role to Haley for a very long time, considering the fact that she grew into becoming quite the attractive young lady. And, you know, those mean streets of Detroit can be kind of remorseless to someone of that stature. So he wound up having to do a lot of beating people up over the course of his youth. That eventually led him into the world of underground street fighting and a way to make some money, you know, to make ends meet, and the rest is history. You know, he kept up with that, joined up a couple of biker gangs and made his name there. Meanwhile, Haley went the pro wrestling route, and eventually Brother Tommy would follow suit and have himself some considerable success. He, like I said in the live video, was a former XWA World Heavyweight Champion, so he's been to the mountaintop. He is one of the few gentlemen to have attained the strap in my company. And yeah, I want to actually show you the tattoos that I have on him, and I will probably actually edit the Crossbones section of this video to show you how the tattoos look on him as well, just so you can see them for yourselves here. But yeah, that's the chest tattoo. It's the same one I used for him in 2K17, basically. Something I pulled from Photoshop. I mean, something I pulled from the internet and did some editing on in Photoshop. I had to do a lot of cropping out of background and such like that. And you can see the effects are kind of jagged, scratchy, I kept those in because I liked the way that looked on him. So, yeah. The back tattoo actually is kind of new. You can't actually see it because of his freaking hair. So let's go ahead and change that up here real quick. Just to be able to show you how that looks. Yeah, we're gonna give you kind of a haircut here, Tommy. Don't mind, it's just a temporary fix. Look at him with a mullet. No. We'll go closer to bone here. There you go. So, the back tattoo is actually one that I added on this year. And it's pretty freaking badass, you know. You've got a curved, jagged kind of dagger there with the skull within the hilt, couple cobras on the side. I mean, that just looks like something that one really bad motherfucker would have inked up on his back. And if you saw that, you're like, that man's got some stories to tell, and they're probably not happy ones. And that pretty much explains Tom Jonas 218. So, yeah, just to show you how those look, so you can see them for yourself. I have actually wanted, well, I kind of contemplated if I wanted to have him wrestle without the tank top on, but I like the logos on the shirts and stuff like that, so I figured, you know, yeah, we'll just have him wrestle with the shirt on, because it gives more of that kind of Street Fighter-esque look to him. Not the game Street Fighter, but an actual Street Fighter. You, of course, can choose to have him wrestle with the shirt on or not at your leisure when you download him to your game. And then we'll take a look at his entrance attire, and I don't think it takes rocket science to see where the entrance gear's inspiration came from. There's a certain well-known metal guitarist out there that has this exact same look, and truth be told, I had always envisioned that look to be Tommy Jonas's look when I first started creating the character. I wanted him to have kind of a rocker slash biker look to him, and considering the fact that I already have a biker type character in the form of Duke Morrow, I decided I wanted to lean more towards the rocker look for him. Even though he is a biker still, you know, just have him have that kind of slash-ish look. So you got the top hat, the shades to go with the, you know, bushy, curly black hair. At one point in time, I actually also kind of contemplated making him blonde to go with Haley. You know, that would kind of make them look a little more related to each other. But I kind of like the contrast of the fact that she's, you know, blonde hair, green eyes, and he is actually brunette, black eyes. So, you know, they don't really look very related to each other, but they are in fact very, very tight with one another. Little FYI for you also, there is no actual facial similarities between them. It's just different face. You just have to use your imagination and suspend relief and believe in the fact that they are in fact brother and sister. And just for, you know, your little shits and giggles or reference points or such like that, I'll put them next to each other. And, yeah, you can see the similarities or lack thereof. But they are in fact family, they are blood, and they are very, very close to each other. Not in the Katie Burchill, Katie Lee, Paul Burchill way of being close to each other, but yeah, she is, she looks up to him, very much so, almost kind of like a father figure, so to speak, because they didn't have a father growing up. and he is very, very protective of her, even though, you know, she can pretty well take care of herself. So it's an interesting dynamic. I really wish they had mixed tag matches in the game. That way I could use them both at the same time. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, because I've read several articles of interviews by Triple H stating that he didn't like mixed gender matches, or even the idea of men and women wrestling together in the same ring, because it gave like a bad impression or such like that. You know, as I'm reading that, I'm pretty much thinking to myself, well, I guess we're not getting mixed tag matches in any WWE games anymore, man, because the games are always reflective of the actual product, and there has not actually been a mixed tag match. The first one that they had in years was last year, when Roman Reigns and Sasha Banks teamed up on Raw. I think they were wrestling against Charlotte and Kevin Owens. I'm not sure if it was Kevin Owens or if it was somebody else. I'll have that information edited in after I do my research after recording again. But that was actually the first mixed tag match that they had in years. So it's not something that happens very often on actual WWE programming, and as such, it's probably not going to happen in the game ever again, which kind of sucks, because, you know, it'd be nice to have these two fighting side by side with each other. Maybe even a mixed gender tag team championship or something like that, you know, going really, really out there. So, you know, ideas always rolling through my head that will just obviously never happen because of the limitations of the game and its features. If I made my own game, though, it'd be wide open. Anyway, a little extra FYI for you guys, the fact that Tommy's moveset is, in fact, a variation of Haley's. They share quite a few distinctive moves, but obviously I've changed a couple of things in his moveset to kind of reflect the fact that he is a little less polished than Haley is, but then again, he's actually a little bit polished himself in different ways, because as I also alluded in the live video, he's done some training with the Togo Dojo and working on refining his style, you know, using submissions and things of that nature to make him a wee bit more effective in the ring. So there are some changes, some differences between their movesets, but overall you'll get the same feel from his moves as you have probably gotten with Haley's moveset. If you manage to download her, which you should, because she's still available as well, like over 250 downloads. Thank y'all very much. But yeah, Tommy here, once again, just like Crossbones, I will probably be uploading to Community Creations either next week or whenever it is that I hit the gold tier, to which I think I'm about 190 or 180 something downloads away from hitting gold status. So yeah, I thought it was going to happen this week. It might actually happen next week, hopefully. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Whichever comes first, they will be available next week. Okay, next up, the first brand new female creation in a little while. This being the 2017 version of Arlene Driver. And I gotta say a couple of things actually before I get into the design cues. She winds up looking a whole lot here with this brand new style attire to Mother Russia, doesn't she? That's one of the characters from the comic slash movies Kick-Ass.
Cops are coming.
Leave it to Mother Russia. She makes 10 times what we do.
50,000 a week plus expenses.
Watch out!
Yeah, this was coincidental resemblance here when I went with this combination with the top and the bikini shorts there, the gloves and everything like that. It's like basically a color swap of Mother Russia if you really looked at it from a distance, especially on the fact that she's, you know, freaking jacked. Yeah. You know, it was one of those things where I caught myself and said, you know what, this kind of reminds me of something, and then I just wound up going with it, you know, running with that whole idea. I had actually even thought of maybe changing the face texture to resemble the actress or person, because she's not actually an actress. She's more like a freaking stunt woman, bodybuilder, and such like that. The lady who actually portrayed Mother Russia in Kick-Ass, who goes by the name of Olga Kurkalina. But then I said, you know what? Nah, that's just too dramatic of a change from last year's version. And last year's version was pretty good, in my opinion. That was probably my favorite version of her. And yeah, so I just decided to stick with the same face that I was using and just do as much as I can, considering the fact that she, much like all the rest of the larger females that I have made, like Jamie Fury and Sarah Warfield, are not exactly as big as they were last year, thanks in part to the new body system, if you can even call it that in this game. It's just not a weekly update if I don't complain about body morphing, is it? Happens every time. But yeah, the basic attire uses assets once again that I have taken from the Nick Virtue Claw, that being the zippers and the buckles on the top. The midsection here, those kind of like strings and studs and stuff like that, is actually from a card that I downloaded from another fine creator who goes by the name of Georgia Gal. She makes some really, really good stuff, actually. So if you are on Community Creations PlayStation 4 and you're in the need for some really elaborate looking female wrestlers, then definitely give her a look. I'm actually going to post up the search tags for her work here on the video for you to check out. And yeah, that's where that one part came from. It was taken from another card that I have also downloaded, because I don't just use my own cause. I just only use my cause on my show, but for regular play, I like to use a lot of different people's stuff, because, you know, that's where some of my inspiration for different attires comes from, and also some of the assets I use for different attires comes from. You know, it makes things that much easier for me, considering the fact that I made so many of these over the course of a year. Anyway, entrance attire, pretty simple. She wears a pair of sunglasses. You know, this is a design cue that is taken from the actual inspiration for the current look of Arlene Driver, which is actually a character that I had seen on DeviantArt. There is an artist on DeviantArt by the name of Terry P. who incidentally also has his own story involving a virtual, well, not virtual, but a fictitious wrestling organization that focuses on women's wrestling. And one of the characters, the current champion of that particular story, goes by the name of Kelly Houston. And yeah, I mean, the similarities are pretty obvious between these two. Took some design cues from her look, which is pretty basic, you know, and just went with that, made some variations, and bam, boom, there you go. Let's take a look at the alternate attire, which is a bit more of a variation of her ring gear from previous versions of the game. Just once again using the same assets, just different actual parts. And yeah, look forward to seeing a bit more of her. Obviously, she is kind of engrossed into a feud or rivalry story thing going with Sonya Robbins. Kind of put the hurting on her a couple of times. That's going to have itself a blow-off eventually, but she is not done. She's actually going to be making her presence seen and known in other ways, of which I can't actually tell you here. You're just going to have to watch and wait to see some future videos, XWA shows, and the live tour videos that I do for that. But yeah, she is going to be a part of a something interesting going on in the XWA Diamond division, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Last but certainly not least for this week is a young woman that goes by the name of Cordelia. Well, that's actually not her real name, but I kind of give you a little bit of a story spoiler there that you're going to find out in the not so distant but distant future. I've already got some pretty interesting things planned out for her. She is actually a milestone, ladies and gentlemen, on the fact that she is, in fact, the first 100% brand new female CAW that I have made in quite some time, I would say. Most of the CAWs that you have seen me upload and show off either in the countdown videos or in the weekly upload updates have been returning versions of existing characters that I have made. She is the first 100% fresh, brand new character that I have developed for the XWA show. And what her role is, like I said with Arlene, I can't give you full disclosure on, but it's pretty big. And that's all I can really tell you without giving up the surprise. But there is a very, very, very distinctive surprise behind her and who she actually is, and what her role is going to be going forward. You might recognize the logo there because it's one that I had showed off in the Photoshop Styles video. And then there's basically a name logo to go on top of that. The attire is pretty cut and dry. You know, I just basically decided to use the logos as the main assets and have them kind of pop out onto her gear. Red and black looking. Got the kind of slicked back long hair there. Really, really simple yet effective design on the ring attire, which is kind of the same idea as what it is that the actual women in WWE wear. It's nothing too elaborate, nothing too over the top, even though I could go over the top. I'm probably going to go over the top at one point, some point within one of the newer characters that I make. Not necessarily newer characters, but just the new creations that I'm going to be adding. Because like I said, I have now 11 more new female CAWS to make, and still a couple more males. I'm probably not going to make as many male wrestlers as female, because I think I have kind of sort of fleshed out who it is that I'm going to be using for the XWA shows. But real quick, let's take a look at the alternate attire, which is black and gray. Still using the same logos, nothing too crazy, just a simple palette swap. And oh yeah, forgot to show you the back tattoo there, the quote-unquote tramp stamp, if you will. That's got the crest there with the lions. That kind of goes into her name, Cordelia, which obviously is the name of a character in the Shakespearean tale King Lear. And as far as the origin of the name, there's a lot of different sources. Basically, nobody really knows, but it could have derived from the phrase Court de Lion, which is French for strength of the lion. So as I took a look at that, I said, okay, so then we should use lions as kind of a design cue on her gear. And I didn't just want to use a straight up lion logo or lion head logo or something like that, because that's already been done for Magnus von Schwartz. That's of course his tagline, being the last lion. So I went with crests instead that have lions as their focus. And yeah, it's an open design. I just added the C in the center because, you know, there's room for it, and just threw a style on both, and then there you have it. So you can pretty much see that, you know, inspiration for brand new ideas can come from many different sources, and you know, it's just one of those things where you have to start with one thing, and then you just let it kind of naturally build itself into an idea, and then just put it all into practice, put it all together, and just continue building off of that. And it was over the course of the last couple of days after I had made her and put her through matches and, you know, tweaked out her moveset, that I figured out exactly what it is that I'm going to be doing with her, and who it is that she's going to be, what role it is that she's going to have. And yeah, like I said, you people out there are going to be shocked when you find out who she actually is. And yeah, that's it. That's all I can say. I don't want to give away anything else, because some of you inquisitive folks out there might actually kind of sort of figure it out over the course of the next couple of weeks before the reveal is even made. But yeah, she and all the rest of the CAWS that I have shown you in this video are, like I said before, probably going to be uploaded to Community Creations next week, or if I reach gold status and acquire 5 more CAWS slots sometime this week, whichever comes first. If there is a change, I will update it in this video. I will also post that information on my Twitter account, which of course is twitter.com/3xgaming, spelled the same as my channel. I would highly recommend you people follow me there if you are on Twitter, because you get a lot of updates there, specifically when I upload new videos and stuff like that, or just new information as far as what it is that I'm working on. But as far as the recap goes, your available CAWS for download this week are going to be the previous ones shown in the second half of last week's Woo video. So you got Jake Creed. You've got the newly upgraded version of Ricky Ortega, Ryan Risk, and Rob Cosmos, who will be all available up for the next week, and then replaced by the CAWS featured in this week's video, unless of course I hit gold status over the course of the next 7 days, to which, if you will notice, I'm now 116 downloads away from reaching that milestone, which will of course allow me 5 new CAWS slots. So whichever comes first. The CAWS that you see in this video will either be uploaded into the new slots, or they will replace the CAWS previously uploaded from last week. Whichever actually happens is what I will go by. Search tags, as always, is going to be 3X CAWS, that is the number 3 followed by the letters XCAW and XWA. If you have found this video interesting or entertaining, then please hit the like button. Really helps out a lot. And if you happen to be new to this channel, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you can follow along with any new content that comes up onto this channel, and there will be quite a bit of it within the next coming weeks. If you happen to already be subscribed to my channel, then how about you people out there hit that little bell button that's next to the subscribe button. That way you get notifications of when exactly it is that any new content that I produce is posted onto my channel. That'll do it pretty much. Until the next time, thanks for watching yet again. And this is Obi, aka 3X, signing off.